Hello orienteering friends, welcome to another video recording of one of my orienteering races. This was I think 2 weeks ago in Valachian Oblast. It was at a place named Ploština. Unfortunately, this was a race I was not prepared to, so I don't have any GoPro recording with me, but I still wanted to do a narrated video what I did wrong and good there. So let's dive in. I will start and I will probably make it a little faster. So this is 4 times the speed I was running. I didn't have proper wardrobe for orienteering, so I was going a little bit slower. Still, I kind of injured my legs, little scratches here and there. So to this first control, this was kind of easy. I guess you noticed that I was going through that gully, but erosion gully, through that greenish thick forest. Very unpleasant. Here, just a while ago, I met a small girl who was lost there as well. I had to consult it with her and give you some advices. Then I got lost in that thicker patch there, and I was trying to find a little clearing. The forest was kind of, emptied, and so it was not really clear which clearing is the right one. You had to use the contours probably, which I kind of failed. There were many more runners looking for this control, so together we found it. To number 2, it was easy after you got out from this green patch. You just ran around that another green patch below the road, and then in that corner there it was. And then I decided to go through the vegetation, and here I did some kind of weird mistake. I don't know why. Somehow I mistaken the clearing with the green small forest that was growing there. So instead of running down to that clearing, I ran around this green patch, and that then threw me off when I was heading directly to control number 3, because I thought that I'm like 100, maybe 200 meters in another position. So now you see that I'm going sort of in the direction of the control, but if you move it, I thought I'm at the clearing, so I was I was going wrong direction. That's why I ended up almost at the smaller stone there, when I actually realized it, and also got an advice from another runner. So now, I'm heading back to that control. Now it was quite clear. To number 4, that seems easy. I think I was going right direction, but I was a little bit too much above the control, so I missed it. I didn't saw it. Even right now you see I'm going right around it, but the GPS is not correct. So I was a little bit uphill, and then I was when I got out of the thicker vegetation, I realized no, I'm not good. So I try to get better, you know. I try to better evaluate the contours and look for the control, and then I found it. To number 5, that was easier for me because this white forest, that was a normal forest where you can clearly see where you are running. I oriented myself to that distinct tree that was clearly visible, and then I went around those green patches and find the control in one of them. Now to number 6, I did kind of a mistake when I took a wrong direction. I don't know what I did wrong exactly. Also, that clearing that is on the map, I found another one that looks similar in the forest, so maybe that's why I also went wrong. I don't know. But the top of the mountain was a clear orientation point for me. So yeah, I lost couple seconds here, I guess, maybe 30 something. So I could have been faster, but it wasn't that big loss in my feeling. Now to number 7, I ran around the green vegetation and then down to the road. That was fairly easy. I didn't want to take that small path. I rather went directly to the vegetation border and then around it, and then basically just keeping my direction correctly, and it wasn't that bad. It was okay. I have found the control easily, although the movement in this vegetation was, problematic. You can't really run, and it was annoying. Now to number 8, I just used I just took the bearing and ran in the direction and found a distinct tree quite easily. And similar strategy to number 9, and I think I executed quite well. Of course, the movement in this kind of forest was again very slow, at least from my point of in my execution, let's say. Now again, I was running through this thick forest, and I was trying to keep the direction. There were also other runners running in the same direction as I did, so I also used them as my, leaders. One of them ended up a little bit above the control, just like me, so that was a little mistake, maybe like 5-10 seconds. Then again we ran straight through the clearing to the thick forest. There was a thicker part which now I'm fighting through, so probably better strategy would be to run a little bit uphill and around it. But it was easy to find this control that it was kind of visible there, even this thick forest. And then I went down to the road, basically, to vehicle road. And as I wasn't having a proper wardrobe, I decided to go around just to be faster, maybe. And I think that wasn't that bad strategy. I avoided going up and down, crossing the stream. And then here this part was, of course, a little bit more difficult because it was up the slope, and again we were in this vegetation which was not really runnable. You could walk through it, but the forest wasn't really runnable. Now here I think to number 13 I could have gone a little bit better. I think you will see later on that I sort of crossed that fenced area. I think I could have run above it completely, but the forest there right now was pretty thick, so maybe that's one of the reasons why I crossed this crossable fence. I think this one was is marked as a crossable, so you are allowed to cross it. And for sure it was much easier to run through this area than from the other part of the forest. Here the control was on top of this small ridge that was quite visible, but again the forest there was very thick and very difficult to find the control there. It wasn't very visible because it was just the trees were pretty small. And the control 14 was also kind of easy. I went through this part that was more runnable there, and then I have found a small clearing, and there the control nearby. Again, number 15, I just took the bearing, ran kind of the correct direction. Again, it was not a forest where I would be able to run. It was I had to fight it most of the time. To number 16, I basically found a part of the forest that was a little bit more runnable, which is now here. So I decided to go through it and then to this path basically. So I took this path, ran to the first corner, and then went straight to control 16. I remember I did a little bit of mistake here because when I was folding the map probably, or looking at the map at some point, I switched the controls. I thought that I should be running to 17 first, but then I realized it's probably around this point. So I did this kind of small around, and then again in this forest, that first of all it was not really possible to run. I had to fight it, and then again fight it even more here, and there were much more these features, these small bowls, or how you call it, small dirt hills. So it was kind of a good luck that I found this. Number 17 was easier because I already knew the direction where I want to run, and then when I crossed the stream, it was kind of easy to find the control. Now again to number 18, I took the bearing and then I basically found this vegetation boundary. In this forest it was a little bit easier to run, and then when I hit the thicker part of the forest, it was clear that I'm almost there. And again, I think it was partly kind of a good luck that I found it, because it wasn't very, you could not see very well in this forest, and you had to almost crawl to get through. And yeah, most of the time we were in these thick forests that you have to fight. And again, here to number 19, I just took the good bearing. The road or the path was kind of a point that helped me to orienteer. Then I crossed this stream. That was again another point that helped me. And then somehow here in this normal forest, I already could see the control. That was a surprising event. Now here I will do a mistake, because I crossed this stream, but I didn't notice it. It looked kind of swampy there. So when I got here, I thought, okay, here I am at the first stream, which was obviously a mistake. I've crossed the stream and then ran again in the direction of the control number 20, but here I noticed that there is a finish above me. So I thought, okay, stupido, and I had to go back. Maybe I went a little bit too far, but I guess not. I think when I'm looking what I'm doing here, I think it was okay. I ran around the vegetation that looked thicker, and then like around the corner I have found a control. Here these next two controls were kind of easy because they were close to one another, and again, if you take the right bearing, you could easily hit the control. Again, the pit here was at the vegetation boundaries. There is a clearing and the forest, so it wasn't that difficult. The more difficult for me was this control number 23. I think if I would go from the left side, let's say, it would be better, but here again, the GPS is probably not that correct. I was a little bit more up, and then when I went around this thick vegetation, and I kind of found this clearing, let's say, and then from there I was trying to look for the paths, and yeah, I realized I really have to go like straight in it. Somehow I have found it, the control there. It was not very nice to run in these kind of forests. To number 24, that was easy because I've already saw these controls when I did the mistake previously. So I have easily found this one. This was the last control anyway. So overall, I enjoyed that race, although the parts, well, basically all of the parts, most of the parts were in thick vegetation that you had to fight. That wasn't really a pleasant experience, but this was not my category to run, and because I usually run H35 and this was H21, so I wasn't really going for a win or a good position. I was quite happy just to run and have a good time in the forest. So it was a good feeling after all, although, you know, still most of the controls were yeah, annoying, let's say the least. So, but it is a good place. Lot of it's a hilly place, steep slopes, so that was challenging, and I kind of like that. And I will probably go to similar races when I will have a chance. Hope you enjoyed. Have fun orienteering. Cheers.